The true story of the Boston Tea Party. You think you know the story. A band of rowdy colonists, dressed as natives, tossed some tea into the harbor and sparked a war. You're wrong. What happened on December 16th, 1773, was not a drunken riot or a party. It was a highly organized, surgical act of economic terrorism and a direct challenge to the most powerful corporation on earth. It was a calculated risk of treason that guaranteed war. This is the true story behind the Tea Act, the secret society that orchestrated the destruction, and the revenge that followed. 2. The context, the corporation, and the tax. The problem? The British East India Company, EIC, was the world's first company too big to fail. They were drowning in millions of pounds of surplus tea and needed a bailout. The Tea Act, 1793. Parliament's solution was to allow the EIC to sell tea directly to the colonies without the usual middleman taxes. Crucially, the old symbolic Townshend Act tax on tea remained. The colonial outrage. The colonists weren't mad that the tea was expensive. It was actually cheaper than smuggled tea. They were furious because it solidified Parliament's right to impose taxation without representation. It granted the EIC a monopoly, destroying local colonial tea merchants like John Hancock. The masterminds, the Sons of Liberty. Key figure, introduced Samuel Adams, the architect of the event. Described the Sons of Liberty as a secret, well-funded political organization, not just a spontaneous mob. The standoff. Tea ships arrive. The Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver. Governor Thomas Hutchinson, a loyalist and tea consignee, refuses to let the ships leave. The clock is ticking. If the tea isn't unloaded in 20 days, the law allows the British to seize and sell the tea, forcing the payment of the hated tax. The final straw, a massive meeting at the Old South Meeting House on December 16th. Adams declares, after a final refusal from the governor, that the gathering can do nothing more to save the country. This was the secret signal. 4. The execution, a surgical strike. 4R, 6R. The disguise. Explain the Mohawk disguise. It wasn't just to hide identity, but to symbolize that the participants were Americans with loyalty only to the New World, not subjects of the crown. The precision. The Boston Tea Party was an organized operation. Men worked in shifts for 3 hours. They damaged only the tea. They even replaced a padlock they broke and ensured no one stole any tea. They were protesting principle, not seeking profit. The damage, 342 chests of tea, worth over $1.7 million today, were dumped.